Hello, one and all. How is everybody tonight? I hope we are all doing good. I know Joshua was in the chat a little bit beforehand trying to guess who King is. He said a giant gorilla. And I said, nope. A giant lizard? Nope. Nope. He's, well, sort of a normal human being, but. Or no animal infused with him, anyways. Mini gorilla. No. I do have a giant gorilla, but his name is just Ape. And of course, I have Metal with me here tonight, as usually is the course, the thing.
An ape named Ape? What is this, George of the Jungle?
Well, I guess he's technically a giant gorilla that people have just named Ape, or given him the name Ape. It's not like he really gave himself the name Ape. I'm not even sure whether he would have a name. Well, maybe. Do gorillas name themselves?
Gorillas can recognize if they have a name.
Yeah, I get that.
But they don't. They know who each other are, right? Like, they can recognize their mother, they can recognize other people of their tribes.
Yeah.
They have specific calls for each other, but it's hard to tell whether their call is a name or like a specific way of saying, hey, you, and they know who they're talking to.
Yeah.
Right. But if a human gives an ape a name, especially if we could teach them sign language, they can say their name back, like they know you're referring to them.
Yeah. Most animals seem to be able to recognize, well, at least most animals we use as pets seem to be able to recognize their name. They may not be able to tell it back to you, but they usually...
Well, a lot of them don't even know it's their name, right? Like, some of them it's just simply a Pavlovian response of, like, when I hear this sound, it's good for me to come.
I'm just sharing this out, don't mind me.
Yeah. I'm working on something that you might find hilarious when I'm done with it. But you're going to have to wait.
Oh, let's see. Timothy says the ape's name is Greg. For instance, Rick knows his name. Hey, we determined last night on Dillert's show that I'm the smarter of the two of us. So I think it's...
Yeah, you know. Online IQ test. Those things are totally reliable.
Hey, I got a higher score than him, so...
Listen, didn't he get like a 132?
No! Timothy only got a 100. Dillard got like...
Oh, I thought you were talking about the two between you and Dillard.
Yeah, Dillard got like 135, I got 134.
Yeah, I don't believe either of you have an IQ of 134 or 135.
What?
Well, that's like the IQ of your average STEM student.
I just don't usually apply myself. That's my problem. But I also messed myself up on, I'd say, 2 questions. One, normally that I would have answered true, I answered false, just because I was trying to see whether it was a trick question or not. Probably not the best time to do it when you're online taking the test in front of a bunch of people, but... And the other one was, right near the end, I didn't take the time that I should have. Because of feeling pressured, I had narrowed it down to 1 or 2, and but would have thought for like probably 30 seconds longer or something like that, I would have got it, but... What is this with your screen? What do you mean, what is this with my screen? Yeah. Nothing. I just got my blank piece of paper there, Timothy. Yeah, I'm not sure how much you can rely on it, but
No, I took one when I was like 5. They
yeah,
tested me. That test had over 200 questions on it, Rick.
yeah.
And this was a like state run, sit down in a room, get it done as fast as you can type test.
Yeah. Joshua says if Rick used 100% of his brain power, he'd be able to cure cancer and come up with a weakness for the Canadian Shield. Technically, I have come up with a weakness for the Canadian Shield.
Have you come up with a good weakness for the Canadian Shield?
What? His senses being able to get overwhelmed?
That's not a bad weakness, I guess. I think you toyed around. I didn't hear if you were actually going to be doing that, though.
Well, I've done it like twice in the comics. Like Toxico blasts him, in the eyes, and he's actually in the text number 2. The sirens overwhelm him, more probably because he wasn't expecting.
I haven't had a chance to actually read number 2.
Oh, okay.
I've only been occasionally see you working on panels.
Yeah. And near the end, Toxico does a radioactive type blast. It ends up being blinding him for a couple minutes.
Yeah, that's not a horrible weakness. I mean, what was it? Early on, that was one of the Hulk's weaknesses. Like sound could get him and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, I don't, the siren was probably more distraction, probably something he hadn't heard before. I'm sure the sound he could get overwhelmed a different way with sound. I doubt once he gets used to sirens, they're going to be able to overwhelm him, But it wasn't.
Yeah, it was kind of the same with the Hulk, right? Like, after a while, because of just how much he started scaling and getting used to things, you have to be like, what's his name? I'm spacing on it, from the Inhumans. Why am I spacing on his name? The king of the Inhumans. No, you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. What's his name? Black Bolt.
Black Bolt, yeah. It was Black something. Black Bolt is like the only sound-based thing that can actually damage the Hulk now.
And actually, not even that, because in World War Hulk,
that was a Skrull.
Oh, that was a Skrull?
That was revealed to be a Skrull later.
Oh, okay.
So it had a weakened version of his powers.
Okay. I did not realize that was supposed to be a Skrull. I know about, Secret Invasion, but...
Yeah, it was all connected to the Secret Invasion.
And I read most of it, but I guess I missed that.
It's been a while, too, so I don't blame anybody. And Black Bolt only uses a fraction of his power. He'd probably blow up a planet if he used all of it. There was one time where he just kind of casually yelled at I think it was Mr. Sinister or someone like that, and he'd time displaced the yell, and it ended up being this large event that was a nuclear explosion back in the 70s that hit Russia.
And of course, if the Shield doesn't happen to have the uniform on, he's weak. And, although you're not probably going to see him a lot with it off in the first few months, you probably see the mask off a lot, which will make him vulnerable, but... Eagle says the Canadian Shield's weakness is the suit's invulnerability.
Oh yeah, like we were talking about. He wants to do like an Archduke Ferdinand. They can't get the suit off of him.
Oh, he can get the suit off. He's going to be at least regularly taking the mask off.
No. Like, what if somehow he was unconscious with internal bleeding, and other people couldn't get the suit off of him?
Oh yeah, other people could.
Okay. Well, that's why we need the clarification, Rick.
Because my quote unquote buckler is basically going to do that before he becomes the buckler. Well, I'm not sure how he's going to get the shield unconscious or whatever. Then he's going to snag the suit back and go back to the future. And then Manly Cougar follows him. And, that's going to be a whole story arc.
In a DeLorean.
Yeah. Timothy says the biggest weakness is he's Canadian. Well, it would be neat if I had a Back to the Future DeLorean somewhere in the background in that thing. Actually, that I should probably do a lot of different in the background time story references.
Like a phone booth.
Timothy says there seems to be a story missing there. Rick, like what? There's the DeLorean, the phone booth. British.
I should have a phone booth. Yeah, I was going to say a phone booth should be parked right next to a police box.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's a police box, not a British phone booth.
Yeah, no, it's for calling the police.
And then somehow you have the time machine.
No cape situation.
I guess it might be possible. Well, it's not going to be able to come off that easy because he's flying and the wind won't knock it off easy enough.
Yeah, but like it seems to be attached around where his mask is, right?
Yeah.
And so could he manually unfix it if his cape was getting like pulled into like a super turbine or something like that?
Oh
like,
yeah.
I know he's really powerful, but
yeah, I'd say yeah.
Okay.
To shield, Timothy says, number one, the buckler steals the suit. Canadian Shield goes to the future to get the suit. Number three, why isn't there a Canadian Shield versus buckler in what I would assume will be called Canadian Shield Zero? Because this is
it's a different buckler.
Yes, it's not the buckler, John's buckler, and this is going to take place like on the buffering. Oh great, now Ego is buffering. Rick is probably just going on like usual and not paying attention to the chat.
Well, that we're wrong about. You are paying attention to the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that down and come back into it. I'd say hi to Rebellious, but everything's buffering. I'm not sure they still hear me.
Well, I mean, it's going now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
It just took me shutting it down. Great. Let's see. We'll go in. Okay, we seem to be going all right now, folks. Where was I? What was the last thing you guys heard in the chat properly? Nice looking chest on your character. Yeah, and now I'm about to erase it because it's not really the way that I want it. So, Metal is probably defending Rick. It's saying that Rick is paying attention to the chat.
I actually did, because for once he was.
Pay attention to the chat a lot, unless we get super busy on the thing. And even then, I try to still pay attention. I just don't read as much of the chat. He probably heard you say that. That's what he said.
Oh, probably. I would assume so, because you've probably been back for a little longer than you thought. I'm only occasionally looking, because I'm working on what I'm doing.
Yeah. I do develop feelings for characters for some reason. I think we all do.
Yeah, it's called a parasocial relationship. Everyone, in fact, does it.
Oh. Help me out, Metal. Do you think there is a story missing here from the Canadian Shield? No, Timothy, nothing's missing. The story that I'm talking about with the buckler and the Canadian Shield, he's not the buckler when he steals it. This is ending how he becomes the buckler. It was a guy that originally was supposed to
I'm
get
aware of this story. That's why it doesn't sound off to me.
Yeah, I was just...
Yeah.
I was trying not to go into a lot of detail. And now I'm going into a lot of detail. In my universe, the guy that was supposed to get the suit before God took the suit and gave it to Manly Cougar comes back in time after he figures out where the suit went, gets it off the Canadian Shield, or Manly Cougar, at that point, and goes back to his time, and the Canadian Shield figures out who stole the suit and pursues him and gets it back. And then the character that was stealing the suit back, who will become the buckler, gets a prototype or something like that, gets another suit and comes back to the regular our time and starts trying to upstage the Canadian Shield. But this is at like the 5 to 6 year part in my universe, Timothy. It's going to be a whole story arc. The Canadian Shield isn't that hot to me, laugh out loud. So many questions about the buckler stealing the suit. Am I wrong for asking? No, you're not wrong for asking. I mean, there should be something there.
I mean, again, it is technically that guy's suit in the first place.
Well, it's technically the Canadian government suit. They're just having him wear it, or they were going to be having him wear it.
I mean, if they give it to him, is there anything that they can do to take it back from him once he has it?
I don't know. Maybe there is a failsafe.
You should consider that, Rick.
Yeah, well... Yeah.
But if there isn't, it's his suit once they give it to him, because it's a pretty powerful suit.
Yeah. And maybe that's partly how he ends up getting the suit in the first place. Because he knows about the failsafe. the guy that was going to get the suit was going to be given it by the Canadian government. The Canadian government made the suit, Timothy, in the future, our future, the future, however you want to say it. And no, the Buckler is not a common thief at that point. He was training and all that to become Canada's superhero. Whether that he would have been called the Canadian Shield or not, that's a different story. Well, seeing as how God owns the universe and everything in it, he didn't steal it. God lends us stuff. God is the one that has given us stuff.
I mean, if he took something of mine and said he was giving it to somebody else, I mean, one, he could probably ask, I'd do it anyway, but if he just took it, I'm going to be looking at God with some really scorned feelings, like, hey man, that was rude. That was mine. Could have asked first, like anybody else.
Yeah, probably a little bit, Timothy. It's probably more meant to be, but then, well, things go awire. Right. Oh, no, we summoned Dillard. Yes, Rebellious. I personally having a hard time imagining my character attractive.
Then don't. Like, you don't have to.
Yeah, he would be sort of Captain America with Superman's powers almost. Or, oh, maybe a watered down Superman powers. I have this written down somewhere. I just don't know where offhand. I wrote it down in one of my drawing books. His name is Pierre something, I believe.
Well, hopefully it's not Pierre Trudeau.
No, definitely not.
Even though that he is the more tolerable of the Trudeaus.
I have a feeling someone might stick big breasts on her someday. Yeah, unfortunately, people will do all sorts of things with your characters that you won't like.
Welcome to the internet.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like, once you have an idea and you release it out into the world, it's no longer just your idea. And so you shouldn't release anything that you aren't comfortable with other people doing stuff to. That's just the truth about the world.
And actually, guess what? It's not welcome to the internet. Welcome to the earth. Because,
I mean, it's been happening before the internet, but a lot of people never had to see it until the internet.
Yeah.
Right, do you think, this is a good example. You think the creator of Sherlock Holmes ever had to see a Rule 63 Sherlock Holmes with big breasts? No, because there's no internet back then.
Yeah. And probably too many people didn't think of doing that either back then. There were crazies.
I don't know, man.
There were
always been crazies.
Yeah, there were crazies, but I'm not sure whether. I'll admit I could be wrong about that. I don't think we'd ever know one way or another. But this guy also was not. I know he's not a soldier, so. Or, not that I remember in my bio that I created for him. I will be okay with being turned into a guy, said Rebellious.
Teach their own.
Oh, wait, let me try something. Buckler! Says Timothy. Pierre is dead. Yeah, Mom, that's not what we were talking about.
Like, at all.
Just saying was the slightly more tolerable one of the two. Between him and his son.
At least he seemed competent, you know?
Yeah. And he did a few good things for Canada. Justin has done none. In fact, if anything, Justin has screwed us more.
Oh, excuse me.
Just please don't give Pastry anything bigger than a C cup. Well, I don't think I did when I did it. I figured it was based on you, and I don't know what size cup you are. And then again, I don't know.
Well, it's none of your business, right?
Yeah, that too. I just figured, being in that age range that the character was supposed to be, she would have some.
Thing.
Yeah.
Depends. Some people never get any.
Yeah, some are flat-chested. Yes, I know that too. But I'm not sure whether I'd say, on average, I'd say more than not get a little something.
The average is going up, actually, over time, and you can see that by ball sales.
Yeah, and I don't. But on that also, I don't know my different cup sizes, what they are, where they start, where they end.
That's because, unlike me, you aren't a pervert. Or at least not as open about it.
Well, it's not something I've studied, that's for sure. Let's see. Dylan says he drew Pastry with a penis and a double E cup. Also as a furry. Sorry, Pastry Rick is degen. A degenerate. I'm not a degenerate.
I might be, depending on your definition. And I'm perfectly fine with that.
He goes like, huh? Timothy says, well, it's confirmed. And Diller to degenerate is also. I can't find it at the moment. It's not in any of the books that I have offhand. Timothy says, good to know, Metal. And Rebellion says, I call bull on that, Dillard.
I wouldn't call bull on that, or else you might actually see him do it in spite.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Hey, Pope Raven. He might be a spite artist. Gimme wrench. gimme, never gets. Don't you know your manners yet? Oh. No, I know. It's probably going to come up with the normal response to that. What are you gonna do with your wrench, Pope Raven? If I give it back to you?
Probably time someone out.
Eagle says Pope Raven deserves a wrench. Evil. It says Timothy. Don't do it, man. It says Rebellion. Probably the best way for you to have Dillard not do it, Pastry, is not to mention it anymore.
Ever again.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life. Or at least any chat that Dillard's in.
Time out, Cat, if she tries to accuse you of ruining her art.
That's what made you lose your wrench in the first place.
All I did was time out, Cat, also says Eagle. I'm thinking about the wrench things, damn it. I was talking about the wrench things, damn it. Oh. Well, it just went in line with what you were saying before, so. Is that a sandwich leg? No, I haven't finished this one. I gotta do it properly. Trying to, anyways. I can't believe I defended you against her abs. And this is how you repay me. And this is how you repay me. Her and. Yeah, but she has a right to say what she wants and believe what she wants. Not a reason to time her out. Pope Birds, says Timothy. Remember the Birds? Yeah, that was a pretty good Hitchcock film. Timothy. The Birds. All over your great coloring job you did for Rick, he says. Not all over. I should have known this would happen. You're always bad at repaying people. No, I'm usually pretty good at repaying them.
Okay, Rick. Where's my image capture? I finished my thing. I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
You'll find it funny. I just have to find where I put it. I'm gonna show you the blank version first. Are you familiar with the Drake meme?
I'm not sure.
Did I think I have this sorted by file type?
Hey, Rick.
You know the Drake meme. Oh man, that's way too big. Let me resize it. Where he's like, I don't like this, but I like that.
I think so.
Okay, well, I did the Drake meme with Borovo.
Yeah. Let's see. Let everybody see this.
Let me turn the background stuff off.
There we go.
Yeah.
Everybody can.
And I did that for a specific reason. Right, so there's the base. I had to make the base first. And I did it because... Where's the other one? I'm looking for it. There it is. Because of this. The idea popped in my head. It was like, I have to do this. I don't have a choice. I have to do this. But now I have a base version, so if, like, since Borovo's the only person of upstanding character in your team that as far as I can discern, and that's going away because he's becoming a young drunk. But he was the person of upstanding character in your team, that it was fitting for him to be, like, the discerning, like, no.
I think I'd go for the purple hair one before. The Esper version.
Yeah, he kept calling her glowing waifu, so... This only makes sense for people who have been watching the RPG campaign.
Yeah, especially like the last 3 to 4 sessions.
Yeah, as you guys have been escorting Dana around. But Flit's character is the white mage.
He likes the white yeti, but he hates the normal female.
But she's not a yeti.
Yeah. Well, the normal female turned into the white one.
Yeah, those are the same
greenish,
person.
Yeah, the greenish person. Well, white. She doesn't look as green as she does in the game.
I literally use the exact same colors.
Maybe it's because it's so small or whatever.
Yeah, that's probably the size, and also surrounding colors can change your interpretation of a color too. Alright? So there's no shading. It's all like... I mean, she has a glow to her. She's like the only person that's not all flat, but everything else I use flat colors for.
Yeah.
There's actually shading here, but she's surrounded by like this pink, which is going to draw the green out more than like the browns and yellows everybody's been surrounded by.
The Yeti, Eagle says the Yeti female will be better at fighting.
She is, technically. And she gets a power boost when it's like a Super Saiyan form almost. She turns into an Esper.
Yeah. Timothy's what the hell is she? That basically answers that, and Eagle says, I haven't watched the last 3 sessions.
The last 3 sessions, other than them having to deal with Dana, which actually all the last 3 sessions have been Dana, right?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
3.5. You
met her like 4 sessions ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from them dealing with her, having to escort her across the desert, there hasn't been a lot of like interesting things happening. In fact, I wish I should probably just pop it back live if it keeps happening again. But the most interesting things have been happening in the post-session conversations.
Yeah. Well, that could be an excerpt, if we're when standing around. Is there going to be a the recap or the talk or whatever? You know how they've done it for a few TV shows where they afterwards, talk.
Are you talking about like The Talking Dead?
Yeah, I guess The Talking Dead. And they've done it for a couple other shows too.
Yeah. It was actually a funny show. It was wow, what was the name of it? It was Fred Savage who was running it. I'm trying to remember the name of it. But they gave him a recap talk show for a show that didn't exist. Right? Like the recap talk show was a comedy skit in itself that was like a whole block. I'm trying to figure out what it was hilarious. They did all kinds of stupid things with it. What Just Happened was the name of the show. It had one season in 2019, and it was a recap show for a show called The Flare, which isn't like a real show at all, and is based off of within itself a fictional book series called The Moon is the Sun at Night.
Okay.
Which has been my favorite of Savage's since childhood, though none of this exists. It's just like this fictional fraudulated experience, and you're just part of the on the ride. And so they're talking about events that never happened because there is no show, but they're talking as if the show is real.
No, she is not. Eagle. She's not an adventurer, and she's definitely not stronger than us.
Depends on which way. None of your characters could 1v1 her in a fight.
Yeah, just because of her armor. Well, Flint might be able to.
Her magic armor was pretty high too. She has a full mithril set.
Yeah, but he was hitting at like 344. Well, then again, I forget what her XP was.
Yeah. She was a level 15 character. You guys were gaining on her the whole time. You've caught up now. But she was 15 when you guys started with her. Now maybe one of you guys could 1v1, and you've got better armor too.
Well, that's what I mean. Right now, Flip could possibly...
Oh, I was talking about when you first met her and Dillard wanted to take her off into the forest and try to, mug her. She would have just taken a turn to go Esper and killed him.
Yeah. Timothy's Dana's Adventures. She will be fighting Dora the Explorer. If you had to describe my character in one word, what would it be? Don't know.
Floaty? Probably floaty. I think that would be the word.
Are you talking about you yourself, or are you talking about the character Rebellious Pastry?
The Hunter. That's what you're thinking of. He's like, what was the name of the adventure from the early sessions? It was Ramkoko. She's one of the highest ranking members of the Hunters Guild. No, Ramkoko could easily kill probably your whole team at once, to be honest.
Yeah.
The whole reason she was there was mostly to be a tutorial NPC to teach you guys how the hunts work, just in case you didn't start doing the hunts by that time of the story.
Everybody says the character. Well, even though I've watched a lot of the videos, I'm not sure whether there's a lot to go on to describe the character.
Floaty.
Yeah, I know you are.
You know why I'm saying floaty? Because, have you ever watched that 70s show?
Yeah, I've seen the whole series.
And the cutaways in between, the commercials, when they're setting up the commercial and coming back, and it's clearly they're jumping on trampolines, but they film it in slow motion, and they put, this psychedelic background in front of it.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get, so floaty.
Yeah. I guess so then, I would agree. because there hasn't been a lot of story with the character yet to really get anything, in my opinion.
Yeah. That image that I showed you was the one I was drawing when I came back to Dillard's stream last night.
Not getting this. Parts of this arm are good. It's probably just the whole thing that I'm trying to do. I've already ruined the position of everything in this. Used an apocalypse pose. Well, I wouldn't say pose. Image.
Yeah. I'm gonna go drop that image in your Discord. In case people miss it. And you've been streaming it, so it might be funny to anybody who's been watching it.
Yeah. Maybe put it in the RPG chat.
Oh yeah, that would be a good place to put it. I was just going to drop it in general, but that'd be more appropriate.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, on Twitter too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to put it in general in your Discord because more people would see it that way.
Yeah, probably maybe both.
I should just call the image glowing waifu. Like, he's like sickened from her because she's like drinking so much soda and belching and stuff. Like, he got the most disgusted when she downed like 50 sodas at once.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, before the first time she transformed. And then afterwards it's like, oh, well, hello there, Dana.
Yeah. Rebellion says, I would have done storytelling by now, but I haven't had a ton happen in my life where I couldn't really access my memories. Well, this character, I know it's supposed to be you, but not you. That's why you're probably gonna have to make a whole bunch of stuff up. Take Metal, for example. He's got his character, the Metal, which is based off him. And I don't think any half of, or a tenth of what that character's done, Metal's actually done in real life.
Oh, yes, but see, that hasn't happened yet.
You're trying to future tell?
I may have already hinted at the rough location in history when this happens. Because back in 2019, in episode 4 of X Dynamis Chaos, they talk about Mr. Sumo, who's the big guy in the mall that's chasing them around, was the grand tournament winner back in 2020. As if that's like way in the past.
Yeah. So not only is it after you, it's a future version of you that's probably younger than you.
Or figured out some weird things.
Rebellion says, my character has more heart than I do. Okay.
Well, maybe it's something you aspire to. No, I should drop this in the vomitorium too for the people who've been watching. That would make sense.
Well, if you haven't, obviously you might sit down and get some info on your character, and then other characters that you might want involved. If you want to do story stuff. And then there's the question of what type of story stuff do you want to do? I don't think you want to do superhero stuff, so do you want to do like an Archie Comics type? I know the crime, like an investigator. You got to figure out what type of stories you want to do, too.
I used to do story time on the Vomitorium just because so many wacky things have happened in my life. And I also come up with a lot of stories too.
Hey, John.
Hello, Rick.
How are
What's
you?
going on?
Not much yourself?
Oh shit! Had a terrible day.
Yeah, why?
I was trying to wire up a trailer to take to the dump,
Yeah.
and no lights, right? So I went and bought like a little light kit and tried to put it on. Just messed it up so bad that I had to go and get another light kit. But I just finished, so that's good. And I gotta send this guy a message. I was supposed to do an interview with Shotgun Samurai tonight, and like an hour, 2 hours ago almost. I didn't even remember until like he sent me a message.
Dillard's one of those people, is he? That's easy.
What?
I had somebody stand me up a couple weeks ago for interview for the book and all that, so I'm joking that you're one of those people. Stand them up, don't tell, but at least you're going to message them back and apologize. This guy hasn't even done that. Does Dillard need a hug? Asked Pastry. Rebellious also says that she is doing in real life story.
Oh damn it! I'll be right back.
So, true life stuff. I'm not sure how that.
Oh, like I said, I used to do IRL story time on the Vomitorium a lot too. Actually, we even did it since it came back because we were doing back with my old co-host before Marsupial came in, ghost stories and stuff too, or from like real life events because we both had quite a few weird ones.
Yeah.
But if you wanna do IRL story time, the problem is you actually have to go out and live an interesting life. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I'm not doing that quite yet, Mallet. For those that do not know, I said I was going to do it tonight. Mallet challenged me and Dillard to make. Do I still have it up? Yeah. Make a character out of this. I think he's more talking about the headgear.
Hmm.
And I came up with a name for it, the carburetor. So, and do it another time. I gotta go to bedroom. Okay. Everybody says I already have an interesting life. Then Dillard said, not Dillard. Mallet says bed. Okay, maybe I'll try and do it Thursday on high noon. Mallet. And there may and there may or may not be high noon on Friday. I have to go out for an hour. Just not sure what time I have to go out yet. So, Yeah, that will be interesting doing that. And then, actually, the big problem is doing a real life story is thanks for clarification. I was thinking some things laugh out. What the thing is, I'd say for in real life is sometimes what we think is interesting to us isn't interesting to other people.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just that. Like when I say that you have to actually go out and live an interesting life, you're gonna run out of stories fast if you're only ever looking at the past, right? Like if you're gonna do something continuously, you have to keep going out and living an interesting life. This is why, like when you're writing, one of the best pieces of advice you can ever get to somebody is like don't stay cooped up inside writing all the time. Have a social life. Go out, hang out with people. You'll make better characters if you have more experiences to go draw off of, you know?
Yeah. More rounded characters, too.
Yeah. You gotta be a more well-rounded person if you want to make more well-rounded stories.
No problem, Mallet. Looks like a lame background character in the Star Wars sequel, says Joshua. Well, I'm not sure whether John saw that or not either. Since he was what he was saying about his day, so. Work is well rounded, says Joshua. Rebellion says, I have a real funny story about me being a dumbass about potatoes. I'm not sure whether she meant about potatoes or traders.
Taters. You probably meant to put taters originally, and it just like corrected to traders. Because a lot of people just call potatoes taters.
Yeah.
You know, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Piping hot raw potato that was supposed to cook in a campfire, but I was dumb. Well, sounds like it could be a good one for possibly a couple minute thing. Maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah, one benefit of doing things in like animated form is that you, for the most part, want to keep things short.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to look for shorter stories, or break something up into parts. But things still have to be satisfying, so
Yeah.
you can't just break something up into parts like in the middle of something. You have to find like a conclusive commercial break where people aren't upset like you're in the middle of a sentence and you just cut off.
She says, it is actually really interesting, but I don't want to spoil it for you all. Well, that's good. And I get that. I'm constantly, slowly. At one time, I used to spill out everything for the Cross Comics universe that I was thinking and all that. Now I'm actually I started learning. Okay, gotta leave these people in suspense a little. Now I probably do it a little too much, especially with me not knowing enough about certain things that people want to know. I was also a very rebellious child. Oh, geez, one might have figured that out from your name. Buck, so is that guy supposed to ever want to look behind him with that with his massive upper body combined with those things that are next to him? He's gonna leave a blind spot as big as a semi truck. Yeah, well, he can grow, so, and he's pretty powerful, so most things hitting him from behind, he'll be lucky to feel them. Is there going to be a moment where a character says, you dropped this, King? I don't know. And he does work with 3 other characters. He's part of a team called the Four. So is he giant human's version of King Kong? I'd say no. I said he can grow. That's one of his powers. Size manipulation. Let's see whether I can actually. Although I linked it to his profile on the site, his profile is not up there at the moment. Well, it's up, but there's nothing in it. More accurately. I gotta retype it up or whatever. Let's see whether I can find his powers. See whether they're in his file. That's in my file folder that I have. Nope. Figures. The not so Fantastic Four. Yeah, something like that. Also, do you like pastries design or anti-pastries design better? I'm not sure. I know I've seen both. Doo-doo-doo.
There we go. I uploaded it to Minds as well. Because I like that place.
But yeah, they're somewhat of an evil Fantastic Four, Joshua. Here's the first vid with anti-pastry. See, just having that character, anti-pastry, I think it sort of ends up making it not so in real life stuff that you might want to be doing.
You know, unless anti-pastry was like Drunk Risey. Because, you know, Drunk Risey is totally a real person, and also a completely different person than Sober Risey.
Yeah, but you can never see them at the same time, so.
Exactly.
But in this case, it's two different personalities. Risey has MPD. There! We finally figured out what his problem is.
Triggered specifically by large amounts, copious amounts of alcohol. Yeah, we actually call that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Well, one sec. You want to know something? I think most people have that if they drink.
Yeah.
If they drink the amount of alcohol he drinks on a regular basis.
A Canadian Shield plushie. Listen, Rick here is a diehard capitalist. If it was feasible for him to sell a Canadian Shield plushie, it would already be there.
Well, I'm sure it'll happen one day. Just unfortunately, probably not any day soon. Who knows what sort of goodies might be down the road. You know, 8th or 9th, 10th campaign on Indiegogo. Then again, hopefully I'm off Indiegogo by then.
Like a life-size Canadian Shield beanbag.
It's
It's basically just a bed.
Maybe Dillard would sleep with a Canadian Shield plushie at night. Somehow I don't think so.
get the Buckler action figure set, which comes with a dartboard with a miniature picture of the Canadian Shield on it and darts for the Buckler to throw.
Yeah, dart throwing action. Well, if John comes back, maybe you can ask him whether he would sleep with a Canadian Shield plushie.
Sounds like he's back.
Could be. I think I heard a door.
It wasn't on your end, was it?
No?
So, why is everything so quiet?
I don't know.
Oh, we were waiting to hear if you had gotten back. We just heard a door click.
Oh yeah, I'm back. Let me turn off this air conditioning though. I can hear it, so I'm pretty sure you guys are
I
hearing
can't
like
hear.
an airport in here.
No, I can't hear it. But Rebellious is wondering whether you would sleep with a Canadian Shield plushie if they were made. I don't think John heard me.
So he probably had to take his headphones off to be able to turn the air conditioner off.
All right, I'm back. What happened?
Well, not much. I was saying.
Did you say I had to take my headphones off to turn off the air conditioning?
Was I would assume.
Oh, absolutely, I do.
Well,
So what is Rick showing on YouTube right now?
King.
my
Should I
character.
turn off my camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
want. Rebellious is wondering whether you would sleep with a Canadian Shield plushie, John, if they were available.
Camera. Would I sleep with a Canadian Shield plushie? No. I mean, if my daughter had it and she was like, I want to go to bed, and she crawled into bed, and she was like, she had the plushie with her, I wouldn't like make her go put it away or something.
But you wouldn't go grab one and for yourself to sleep
Wouldn't
with.
be his choice.
Rick, I'm an adult. Why would I do that?
I don't know.
It's like that. It's like
Not my question.
It's like Milhouse's dad, where he's asking Homer, like, oh, I sleep in a race car bed. Where do you sleep? He's like, I sleep in a big bed with my wife.
No,
How would I sleep with a plushie?
King does not have infinite power, Joshua. He says plushies have you ever pushies have you ever wanted to push a toy over but were afraid of getting damaged? Well, we have the pushy, machine washable. It's made to survive an impossible pushing.
I'm not even going to criticize Rick too much for this because I'm reading it and he missed like 2 words, but otherwise it's almost verbatim.
Oh, man. Who wrote that?
Eagle.
What's his problem?
I don't know. He didn't think about what he was typing as he was typing it.
I mean, I guess. I'm working on this pinup.
I saw, yeah, it's the same one you worked on last night, right?
Yeah, it's the same one, dude. All day long. First thing we did, right? I was like, okay, because I've been telling this guy, I will go to the dump with you. I will physically do all the work, but I am not going to drive your trailer. Your trailer has no lights, no brake lights, no turn signals. I have a Class A license.
Yeah.
That can get me in a lot of trouble. So finally today, he's like, okay, let's go. So we go, but we don't go to the dump that's right next to our house, right? Because he heard from his buddy Macho that there's a dump over in Chino that's better and cheaper, and there's no line. This is around like 8 in the morning, right? There's usually no line until about 10. So he takes his sweet time and drives us the scenic route, talking about all the places he used to work and pointing out these things. And I'm like, all right, dude, come on, let's just get there. So we finally get to this place. It's a green waste only dump site.
What are you going to get there?
So I'm like, are you serious? So he's all angry and he's calling up his friend, yelling at his friend, whatever. And I'm on my phone. I'm looking for another dump, right? I'm like, okay, we got to find something else. The closest other dump is the one we want. The one next to our house. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh damn it! And the thing is, he's driving around. He's worried too. He's driving around with no plates and no lights or nothing. And now we got to go because we went the opposite direction. We got to go not only the same route, but the additional miles that we tacked on going the opposite direction. And by the time we get there, it's like 11 o'clock, and it's the line is around the block. And normally, if you get there that late, it's like the wait time's like minimum hour and a half. I've waited in line there for at least 3 hours at one point. So I'm like, well, let's do this. Let's go. Let's leave, because he was like trying to leave, but he didn't really want to leave because he really wanted to dump this trash. And I was like, this is what I'll do. Let's go back home. I'll go to Home Depot. I'll go pick up a trailer light set, and I'll get this trailer some working lights. I'll throw on one of my, other trailers' license plate on the back of it, just for show. And then it'll be good, right? And then I'll take it in the morning. Now, wouldn't you know it? Now, I don't know how many people do know this. I certainly didn't. But, I'm a fool. Not all trailer kits have the same amount of pins. Now, my truck and the truck that we're using to tow the thing, we have 4-pin connectors, right? Like the standard 4-pin, that everybody uses 4-pin connectors. Apparently, that's not true. There's all kinds of different connectors. There's also 5-pin connectors, and the kit that I picked up was a 5-pin connector. I didn't even think to look for that.
Because you thought it would just be the same.
Yeah. Because that's what comes on most cars. Unless they have that 7 blade, that round one, it's usually a 4-pin. A flat 4, And it didn't have the 7 blade on it, so I was like, oh, it's probably a flat 4 then. And the thing is, I can't even return the thing, because I hooked the whole thing up to the trailer before I even found out. Like, I cut the wires, spliced them, made sure that the grounds were all, everything. Did the whole thing. And then when I went to go plug it in, I was like, wait a minute. I was like desperately looking online to figure out if there's like an adapter. But it basically just ruined the trailer. Because, who is going to be walking up to ever use this trailer with a 5-pin? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so I had to go back to Home Depot and go and make sure I found and here's the thing, they didn't have it. I had to go to Lowe's, find a flat 4-pin connector. That's probably why it was the only one there.
Okay, Rebellious, record this. This is a great story for you.
Steal somebody else's story.
What?
Ignore Rick.
All right. So, came back, got my wire clippers out, and tore out the entire wiring system. And installed the new wiring system. And I was very upset, but it's all done now, and now I'm happy. And now I can go 7 o'clock tomorrow morning and dump all the trash that I want to my heart's content without having to take somebody with me. Probably would have ended up getting me hurt anyway.
Probably.
So in the morning you gotta go take a dump.
No, Rick, I got to go take a load of trash to the dump.
You gotta go take the load to the dump?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what else are they saying here in the chat? Let's see. Does Rick sleep with plushies? No, Joshua. If you could make a Canadian Shield plushie with a voice box, what would his recorded phrases be? Or insane? I have no idea.
What makes the red man red?
You press the belly that says by my comment and you go up. No, I wouldn't say that. Rebelli says yes to something. Eagle says I can't take off this thing. Joshua says, and Rick makes the plushie promote his products in everything it says. No. Maybe.
Well, you know what I would make him say? Is act like, because you know, you'd want his actual voice in there. So they did him in the studio and put him in front of this tin can. He'd be like, am I supposed to talk into this thing? And that would be like what it says in the plushie, and that'd just be stuck forever.
Joshua says, may I interest you in a Canadian Shield statue now on sale? Having, you know, the plush is supposed to be the same. Eagle says, send me your fan art for the chance to have it featured in my next coloring book. I've never featured anybody's fan art in my coloring book or comic book. What does Rick sleep with? Nothing. Pope Raven. Oh, did you see Mallet's challenge to us, John? On Twitter?
No, what is it?
Okay. He said he got this picture. I'm not sure where he got it from. Make a character out of this. If we can make a character out of this. I got the name already for mine. The Carburetor. He actually liked it. Have you seen the picture yet, John?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
He looks like, not like he would be a Mad Max character, but he'd be like the grandpa of a Mad Max character.
So it sounds like you had a fun-filled day, and you're going to have more of a fun-filled day tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not going to be hard. Yeah. Unloading stuff is always easier than loading stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
Unless you're loading things by unloading things.
I don't even know what that means.
But like if you're working on docks, you're often unloading something just by loading it onto something else.
Oh, that's true.
What
I remember I
company?
used to work at Hershey's. And
Yeah.
I never realized how heavy a box of chocolate bars was. And
Yeah, there's quite some weight to it.
They want them stacked. I think it was like 16 and 12. And they stack them high, dude. You can stack those things like I think 11 rows high on a pallet. That's and they're small. It's like loading gold, dude. Like loading like bricks of gold. It's terrible. You got to bend way down, and it's super heavy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Joshua asked me whether I've started my Pig Snarker fan art for Cats competition of my character. No, I haven't started that yet, Joshua. Rebellia asks, how tall is the buckler?
Oh, the buckler is 6'5".
Says what competition, and Joshua says the Pig Snorker Fan Art Challenge. I'm still wondering if I do something of my own characters. Is it
Right.
fan
Correction.
Answered this question for
Correction,
you.
6'6".
Oh, so he's exactly 6.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
But Rick, I've answered this question for you already. It can still be fan art as long as you don't use it in an official capacity. Because you can be a fan of your own characters. In fact, you should be the biggest fan of your own stuff, because who else is going to be if you're not?
True.
And I'll be right back. I've got a lot of trash around me, and I need to get rid of this. It's bothering me.
That's a good man. I can't be bothered to take out the trash around me. I'm a messy person, and I live in filth, Rick.
So your wife comes and does it for you?
No. My wife doesn't have any business hanging around my stuff.
She is your wife. That would give her a little bit of...
No, not at all. Not even some business. Like, no business at all.
Rebellia says, imagine the buckler next to a 5'2" character.
Yeah, there's 5'2" characters in the buckler. And there are characters that are even smaller. His daughter is smaller than he is. She's very small. I think she's around like 4'1". Is Rebellious talking about her character again?
I guess so.
What exactly is her character? Is it a comic book character, or is it a something else?
I wouldn't say comic book character. It's just
What would you say it is, Rick?
a version of her for her animations. I think that would best describe it, but she can correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back, Metal. So, Metal, what do you know about Rebellious Pastries characters? Or character?
Vague information. I watched all at one point. I think there was like 40 videos, all of them back to back because they're really short. So I don't remember any video independently since I binged through them, but I did watch them all. They just kind of blend together, and there's not much to the character yet. That's the only problem about it.
Yeah, Rebellious says, I think Rick is right for once. I described her character as a version of her.
Yeah, well, that's true. I gave a description of like the impression the character gave on me earlier in the show.
And what was that description?
She asked for like a one-word description, and I said floaty.
Those are
But then I went and explained why. And it was because at least from the way the story time is, and like the visuals surrounding the character and her voice on the character, it kind of reminded me of those kind of like credit callouts before and after, or like the commercial callouts in that 70s show, you know, like where they're jumping, they're clearly on trampolines, but they cut it out and they have like the psychedelic background. And that's like the feeling that Pastry's animations give me.
question is, has Pastry seen that 70s show?
Oh no, I forgot I was using a 005. I've been kind of putting it through its paces, and I think the tip just broke.
Ooh,
I was using it like it was an 02.
That's one of my favorite pens too, the 005.
It's nice, right?
Mm-hmm. Just get in there and do that detail work.
So if you could, Rick, try to be a little generous here with your time and your brain power. If you were to describe Rebellious Pastry's character as, just give it the best description you can, what would it be?
It is hard, like Metal said. A little bit hard, like Metal said. I've watched most of the videos, and they're really short. There's no real story to them, so it's hard to get any sort of thing off of it. Sometimes I'm not sure whether it's just her.
I mean, that's a really well thought out and long excuse for not giving me an answer.
Yeah, well, I'm trying. In that, I'm thinking. It's the process, I guess, I'm going through and trying to figure out how to describe. And then Rebellion says, "I don't watch things; I make things." Well, you should be watching life. That helps you make things. Or can, anyways. What was I saying?
You were giving me a description of the character Rebellious Pastry.
Yeah, I guess there. I think I was saying a lot of times I'm not sure whether it's her character doing this stuff, or she's just using her character to do it herself. So I'm not sure whether one's her personality or it's the character's personality. Because in some of the videos, the character is, I'd say, maybe excitable. I think might be the right word.
So let's just say that the character, as it's portrayed on her show, is in fact the character.
Okay.
And not her. What would you say the character is?
Well, there's some excitability to the character over things that are whatever might be happening. Trying to think, is there any, what else? Happy, maybe. I'm just trying to think of all the little shorts and all that. Like I said, there's not a lot, but there's, you're lucky if they're a minute early. Sometimes you're lucky if they're 30 seconds.
Well, that tends to be the case with beginner animations, because it is hard to animate things. It takes a lot of time until you find shortcuts and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're learning things, everything takes forever, and you can only get so much time out of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not saying that as a knock. I'm just saying it as, it ends up being harder to judge various things with just so little time in it. Seeing it go in.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the one that, I'd probably say excitable. Maybe a bit nervous energy. And like I said, I haven't seen quite all of them, but I think
and so there's like a feeling of anxiousness.
yeah.
Makes sense to me, Rick.
Okay. Well, hopefully that was
That was a long way to. I didn't want to hear your one-word explanation or description. I was
Yeah.
a regular description, not a one-word description, but to each of their own.
Well, like I said, unfortunately, there's not a lot to go off. You can't get much more to add one word probably for 3 or 4 words. Rebelli says, I was scared putting my stuff out there. I believe the rebellious pastry character arc was underdeveloped and subpar. I rate it 5 burps out of a possible 17, says Joshua.
Okay, Rick, I'm about to have another one for you in a minute.
Another Borovo meme.
Oh yeah. You'll like. Well, you may not like this one. Everybody else will.
Yeah, it's probably what I was expecting from the first one.
As soon as it's done saving.
No, he's not, Eagle.
There we go.
Okay, we'll let everybody see this. Well, he did say he was warming up to the bird, too, getting the ride so many times. Having help like that.
Yeah, but I think this is also just like everybody's general consensus towards your bird.
Yeah, and for no real apparent reason.
I think it's just because you have it.
Yeah.
And they can also partially blame your bird for some of the worst parts about your character, like not being able to kill people.
Yeah, well, that's...
Yeah, or taking forever to take your turn.
Yeah.
And then after you take forever to take your turn, your bird takes forever.
I don't usually take forever.
And then you're like, well, how can I possibly make it myself even more obnoxious? I know, I'm just going to carry on a bunch of bestiaries for no reason.
I've got a reason, because my character wants to start knowing the stuff.
No, Rick, you want to start seeing health bars, not your character.
Both, actually.
It doesn't matter, he doesn't kill anybody.
Yeah, I guess he needs to know when to stop. So he doesn't kill. Everybody says the nerve for me, not the character. What was the angry YouTuber? That was the angry YouTube animator reviewer, not me, says Joshua.
So I got my copy of Niobe Birthright.
Well, cool.
Number 2.
Oh, nice.
Very preachy.
Really?
Yeah. And I guess I need the first story. Do you know where I can find that? You know where I can pay to just read that? Because I don't want to wait for another book to show up.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if he has a digital version available, but he might on his Gumroad. Let me look at it. I think I have it bookmarked.
Yeah. Niobe number 1 is digital, number 2 is digital, and Birthright. Oh, this says variant. That doesn't say if it's digital or not. Yeah, it's $12. I don't think he has a digital version of Birthright 1. I mean, he'll probably just like let you PayPal him $3 and send it to you, because that's how much the digitals cost on his Gumroad.
Because he's going to ask me what I think of it. I want to withhold judgment until I actually read and find out what's going on. Because as it stands, there wasn't really too much of a story happening.
Yeah, I have the digital version of 2 because I did back it. I just haven't read it yet.
It's also very short.
Okay, Eagle says, Metal, when will Rick's Chocobo turn into a demon bird who wants to end the world?
I don't know if that's going to happen or what would set that up, but I don't know. Just keep watching.
Joshua wants to know what's preachy about it. I think that's to Dillard about Niobe.
Oh, it's like, how can I say it?
It is about the abortion debate. I know that.
Yeah, but not really. I mean, they're using some other type of... And the thing is, I don't know what it means. They're talking about some sort of like a genome or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
some sort of anomaly where people are born with wings or something like that.
Well, that's what gives... it's basically mutants, for lack of a better way of saying it. The mutants
it's an analogy for the Down syndrome debate.
Well, no, like in his universe, characters get powers via this thing, you know, like mutants.
Yeah, but if it's an abortion debate, because you can't tell with 100% certainty, but you can kind of tell if a kid's going to have Down syndrome, and a lot of people have used that as an excuse for abortion. So I'm assuming that's what it's paralleling.
Yeah. Well, it may or may not. I might have went overboard saying it's about the abortion debate. I'm not sure. I think I remember something like that being said, but I could be wrong.
It's not. The book's mainly about being out of your own business.
Oh, okay.
Rebellious wants.
But there's other stuff that. Remember how when they talked about it, the Star Wars Episode 2, where Anakin and Obi-Wan are constantly referencing more interesting things that are happening right now.
Yeah.
It's like every time they're talking about something else that might happen or did happen. It's like I want to know about that. I don't care about what that's like.
Yeah. That's the problem with the prequels, right? Like, there's actually a really interesting story of like conspiracy and stuff buried in there, but you don't get to see.
I'm talking about Larry Higgins, boy.
Yeah, but it's the same problem, right? There's an interesting story buried in there, but you don't get to see it.
The thing is, it's drawn. I didn't like it when I first started looking at it. I didn't like the way Niobe was drawn, but the artist is actually very good, showing like spatial distance between people. The action scenes are super fluid. I had no idea what Niobe's powers were, and I was looking at it, and she was using them in very clever ways. These portals, you know what I mean? And I was like, "Wow, this is actually. I don't even need like setup for this. They're showing it really well." Doing the whole like reaching behind her, but reaching into a portal, and then reaching behind the other girl's hair and pulling her hair back to the ground and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some pretty slick stuff.
Let's see. Rebellious asks, how Christian is Cross Comics? Well, I guess it might depend on who you ask. And after having read Number one, I know Tank read Tank Ferret. Not that you know who he is. He's not a Christian or anything, and he didn't find it preachy at all. Yeah. So I don't know about anybody else in that regard.
Your comic?
Yeah. And Joshua says Christian enough that all the heroes are Christian. Yeah. Rebelli says, I find it interesting how anti-abortion people are the same people who are pro-death penalty and pro-conversion therapy. Well, some of them are. I wouldn't say all are. You might have a few that are anti-abortion or pro-death penalty and pro-conversion therapy. I'm not sure where most Christians stand on conversion therapy, and I wouldn't say I know where most Christians stand on the death penalty either. I think most of them for death penalty are against it that I know. But
I used to be against the death penalty when I was younger. I'm not anymore.
Joshua says people who get the death penalty have done bad things. I'm bored when people haven't done anything bad yet, but not a reason to make them non-existent. However you want to put that. So are you doing a show tonight, John, or?
Yeah. As soon as you finish, we're gonna do our test.
How depressed are we?
Yes.
So
You want
that'll...
to back out of the?
No, I just wasn't sure whether you're still doing it or not.
I am gonna have to dip out of the meat and start up my own meat, though.
Yeah, so you can get your
So I
camera
can
work.
actually use my camera. Yeah.
Because I know you're having a problem last night with that.
You can always deactivate it from the meat settings.
But will that open it up to use?
In OBS?
Yeah.
It should. If it doesn't, you just open up the properties in OBS for the camera, you hit deactivate and activate again, and it'll pull it right up. I've done this a lot of times.
I tried doing that yesterday. It didn't work.
Well, I don't think the conversion therapy itself has what people possibly have after it, Rebellious. I know it's a fine distinction, but...
I've talked people out of conversion therapy.
Lives. People take their own lives because they're weak.
I'm pretty against it, though.
Conversion therapy is stupid and gay. And people that kill themselves because of conversion therapy are stupid and gay.
Although as I said, having really thought about it a little because of Rebellious, I'd say I'm against it because, people are just going to do whatever. You're not really going to change people's minds that way.
What was that funny, what was that old meme about, when you kill yourself from depression, about using the shampoo bottle and the don't do it until you use the shampoo bottle and the conditioner bottle are both empty at the same time? How did that go?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember.
Joshua says, I have depression because my peanut farm went sour. I think you mean sour. So anything you would like to promote, Metal?
I think I found the meme, right? Because it's got like the first world problem depressed woman on there, right? And he's like, I wanted to finish my shampoo and conditioner at the same time, so I had to use way too much shampoo. First world problems are the funniest memes.
Rick, I have something to promote.
I guess Metal does it.
Well, the vomitorium tomorrow. That's it. That's all I need to promote.
Okay, John.
All right, so I have an interview on Thursday with the Quaff from Shotgun Samurai. So we're going to do that on Thursday, so make sure to tune in for that. He has an interesting looking book that's like an enormous amount of pages for dirt cheap. Other than that, stay tuned. Right after this stream ends, I'm going to be starting up a stream where me and Rick are going to find out whether or not we're depressed. And that's what's causing my problem. My problem of having no empathy.
I think everyone's depressed.
That's not true.
Because we've been locked inside. Nobody's socially healthy.
Yeah, well, Rebellion says I have depression due to the COVID drama.
Lame.
Joshua puts a lightning bolt in the chat for some reason. And Pope Raven says, I think Rick needs conversion therapy. Conversion to what? Converting to what? But anyways, with that said, thanks to Metal and John for coming on. It's been great having them on, as always. And it's been great, of course, having everybody on the chat here participating, talking with us tonight for when we did. And hopefully we'll see you over on Dillard's channel in a few minutes. So bye for now. God bless. Love you all. Have a great and wonderful day, night, whatever it might be for you.